The story has now concluded. Our Yuyan wishes everyone a prosperous year of the dragon. Enjoy the story. Now, the main text begins. Xing Emi I helped the transfer student to the school clinic, leaving me still bleeding on the spot. I won the match, but I lost him. Afterward, he apologized to me. I shook my head and said it didn't matter. I no longer loved him. If nothing unexpected happens, he won't see me for the rest of his life. Later, he hiked 7 mountains and truly never found the person he lost back then. As the field was buzzing with excitement, Liu Ryan ran toward me. At first, I was slightly bewildered. Then my whole heart was trembling. It had been nearly 2 weeks since our silent standoff began. We were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. We slept in the same bed as kids, wore the same pair of pants. From babbling our first words, whether playing house or fighting games, we were always on the same team, never apart. Our bond was so close that both families had naturally begun to see us as future partners. Our parents often gathered to play together, joking that once we got married, they would hand over the family businesses to us and go on a joyful world tour. To fulfill this travel dream, my mom and his mom had already planned the countries they wanted to visit, the routes. Everyone believed we would end up together. Even I thought so. So when I had that fight with Liu Ryan 2 weeks ago, as usual, I was the first to apologize and comfort her. I thought she would react as she always had before. Softly, she would usually act coquettish to make peace. But unexpectedly, she didn't speak to me for the entire 2 weeks, under the scorching sun on the playground. I watched the girl running toward me, sweat trickling down her forehead, her usually calm face filled with worrying and anxiety. It was the first time I had seen such an anxious expression on her. Actually, getting hurt while playing basketball is quite normal. For a guy like me, an injury with bleeding isn't that painful. But thinking of the Cold War that had lasted 2 weeks, I couldn't help feeling a bit aggrieved. Yan grabbed my arm. But before she could finish her sentence, Liu Ryan had already bent down, crying as she hugged the transfer student. "Why are you so careless?" she sobbed. He was crying too, struggling to help the transfer student, Yang Wei, up beside me. Then they walked toward the school clinic. Without even sparing a glance in my direction, my raised hands felt frozen stiff. There were many events held at the school sports meet, and the crowd was buzzing with excitement at that moment. The girl I had loved for more than 10 years was supporting the transfer student who got injured along with me. Yang Wei was a new classmate who had just transferred this semester. He had good grades and a decent character. Right after he transferred, his heroic deeds became known to everyone. Liu Ryan once said, "He looks quite nice too." The downside was that his family wasn't well off. He's a bit wooden. When Yang Wei had just transferred, Liu Ryan and I were still desk mates. His seat was arranged right behind us. I believed that a young man's determination could conquer poverty. I admired those who stayed resilient despite hardships. It was I who brought Yang Wei into the school's basketball circle. I was the one who secretly topped up his meal card. I was also the one who fought off the bullies that harassed him. Back then, Liu Ryan often cried because I got bruised fighting for Yang Wei. At that time, I rode my bicycle with her on the Sunset Road, laughing into the wind. Even the punks from other schools dared to bully her. How could I not step in? Don't worry, these little wounds will heal even if we visit the hospital later. In my heart, Liu Ryan was my future wife. Yang Wei was just a buddy. I knew Liu Ryan had genuinely liked me. The first time I got into a conflict with someone, the other side brought a lot of people. Everyone ran away, but he stayed by my side no matter what. I had an outgoing personality and acted impulsively, so I made quite a few enemies, but he always smiled gently, pointing out my strengths in front of others. He used to sit beside me, always smiling kindly. My temper is so bad. When I grow up, no one will dare to marry me for sure. Then he blushed. Ito Makoto, if you're still this nice to me after a long time, I'll be your girlfriend. I don't know. When Liu Ryan and Yang Wei got close, I didn't even notice. When it started that, my bicycle's backseat no longer carried her. She no longer walked home with me after school. Yang Wei struggled in some subjects. His English pronunciation was poor. She wanted to help him correct it. Yang Wei's mother fell ill. She helped take her to the hospital. I don't know when it began, but the one who felt jealous and aggrieved turned from her to me. I became the one silently watching her back. I was the one quietly watching their two figures from behind. One day, Yang Wei quietly tapped my shoulder, carefully asking Ito-chen, "Can I swap seats with you? You're taller. I can't see the board from the back." I didn't say anything. I looked towards Liu Ryan. Her eyes were devoid of any emotion. I noticed she had a new hairstyle today, and Yang Wei's hair was also a bit shorter. If it's sand that can't be held, why bother causing myself unnecessary trouble? I moved my desk away from him, during which she glanced at me, as if she had something to say. But in the end, she swallowed all her words. Liu Ryan wasn't much of a talker, and Yang Wei was also very quiet. But whenever Yang Wei discussed something with her, she always patiently explained it to him, even handing over her neatly organized notes. When Yang Wei made a three-point shot, she would, in front of everyone, smile and hand him a bottle of water. It was like watching a youth romance film before my eyes. Every detail of the male and female leads playing out in front of me. Liu Ryan and I grew more distant, so far that I started to feel insanely jealous, even finding it hard to like Yang Wei. During one physical education class, while playing basketball, Yang Wei's team happened to be our opposing team. Yang Wei had come from an ordinary school, and his family situation was very poor. He didn't have any outstanding talent in basketball. A thought of deliberately humiliating him arose in my mind. I deliberately dribbled the ball around him. He tried his best to defend, but he kept losing every time, even getting knocked to the ground by his own teammate because he was so thin. His knee scraped against the ground, skin peeling off. Ito-chen, do you have some sort of misunderstanding about me? In front of everyone's eyes, Yang Wei glared at me in anger. I consider you my best friend. I know your family is wealthy and powerful, but I have never asked for anything from you. Why are you targeting me? Everyone around started to notice my mood, whispering if Yang Wei had somehow offended me. I was the star player of the school basketball team, but I had never made anyone lose so disgracefully. It was at that moment that Liu Ryan appeared. She helped Yang Wei to a seat nearby. Looking at me with disappointment in her eyes, she held a bottle of water in her hand and slowly walked toward me. Yang Wei's family has no money. He's not as good at basketball as you, young master. Her voice echoed, and then that bottle of water was poured onto my face. The school sports field was still buzzing with noise. Memories from the past flashed before me like a film reel. On my way back to the classroom, I limped into the class. The room was almost empty. Only one girl, who wasn't feeling well, hadn't participated in the sports meet and was napping on her desk. When she saw me come in, she lifted her eyelids to glance at me. I heard you won the game. Congratulations, I didn't reply. I just stared at the two desks in the front row. Their desks were neat. Books stacked in perfect order. Quite a good match, actually. I wasn't wearing shoes. The abrasion stretched from my calf all the way to the top of my foot. Blood was everywhere. Because I didn't want to see Liu Ryan and Yang Wei. I refused to go to the school clinic for treatment. I lowered my head and blew gently on the wound. The feeling of grievance crawled from my heel up to my heart. The girl I had accompanied for over 10 years abandoned me today. I didn't know who had placed a bottle of iodine on my desk. When Liu Ryan entered the classroom, I had just applied the iodine to my wound. She looked at my leg, her brow slightly furrowed, as if she had just noticed I was injured. I saw her lips move several times, but not a single word came out. It wasn't until I was leaving with my backpack on that she grabbed the strap of my bag. "Ito-chen, why didn't you go for treatment?" She looked at me thoughtfully. "Don't be like this. Yang Wei has always felt guilty toward you. You got hurt and didn't go to the school clinic. He feels like he has somehow wronged you." I cursed under my breath. So even men can be such green teas. Perhaps my words were too crude. Liu Ryan's face showed a hint of displeasure. I yanked the strap of my bag away, suddenly thought of something, and turned back around. I took a box out of the drawer. I remembered the basketball incident during PE class last time, when she splashed a bottle of water on me. Afterward, she apologetically explained, saying it was a moment of impulsiveness. Back then, our Cold War hadn't started yet. She followed behind me, carefully asking why I disliked Yang Wei. "I remember you never liked bullying anyone, especially classmates from difficult backgrounds. Even if it's for the team to win, you wouldn't have gone so hard, scoring three-pointers right under his nose every time. Ito-chen, Yang Wei's family environment isn't good. We should be more lenient with him." I seem to have forgotten the numbness I felt at that time. But at this moment, I decided to let go. I handed the gilded box to Liu Ryan. I wanted to smile, but couldn't bring myself to. "I'll be on leave next week. So happy birthday in advance." I had never missed Liu Ryan's birthday before. In a place I couldn't see. Liu Ryan's expression suddenly changed. She blocked my way. "Ito-chen, what are you doing? You clearly promised Liu Ryan. That was in the past. She also once said she'd marry me and stay with me until old age. I'm actually not a very ambitious person. My family has money. My parents are open-minded, and they don't have any particular demands on me, as long as I don't break any laws or cause trouble. The only thing I had planned was to study well, go to the same university as Liu Ryan, then return home together to inherit the family business. Let my parents fulfill their dream of traveling around the world. I never thought about being apart from Liu Ryan. When my mom found out I wanted to change my choice of college major, she was so shocked she thought I'd lost my mind. Terrified, she wanted to take me to the hospital. No particular reason. I just didn't like the major I had chosen. So I'm switching to another. Liu Ryan is the one who likes studying biology. Not me, as long as I don't break the law. My parents almost let me do anything I want, as long as I make my intentions clear. Changing my major was just a trivial matter in their eyes. I was already asleep at night when there was a knock on my door. I thought it was my parents, so I casually said, "Come in." I turned my head, only to find Liu Ryan standing by my bed with a solemn face. "You'll come to my birthday, right?" She seemed somewhat unsure, as if she wanted to sit as usual in my favorite gaming chair, but sensed my reluctance. Does it matter if I go or not? It's all the same people we see regularly, nothing different. I turned on the light, only to notice that Liu Ryan's eyes were swollen, as if she had been crying. I wanted to ask, but found it hard to get the words out. As she got closer to Yang Wei, I was gradually being pushed away. Liu Ryan didn't expect me to be so cold. Ito-chen, aren't you going to ask me? It's because there's no need to ask about Yang Wei. He nodded, and that's when I learned how bad his situation was. His whole family was squeezed into a tiny rental. His father treated him and his mother terribly. Drinking, gambling, even visiting prostitutes and having affairs. When I went there, I happened to run into his father bringing a woman home. Then why are you telling me all this? If possible, I hope you won't target him at school anymore. Yang Wei is really pitiful. Compared to you, he doesn't even have a basic home. I tossed the medicine she handed me into the trash bin, smiling, so it sounds like his misfortune is somehow because of me. Don't forget Liu Ryan. He was bullied by those thugs over and over. Who was it that defended him back then? I was the one who always stood up for him. The last time I defended him was also the beginning of my Cold War with Liu Ryan. The incident of humiliation on the basketball court during PE class. No matter how much Yang Wei explained, I couldn't be bothered to listen. He kept insisting on apologizing to me, but I coldly told him to get lost. Liu Ryan said I was being excessive, but I didn't think I was wrong. Even without the matter of Liu Ryan, I hated Yang Wei's behavior. I despised it immensely. Once, when Yang Wei was wandering alone outside the school, he was cornered at the entrance of an alley by the same thugs who had bullied him before. Those punks pulled out knives. They were genuinely planning to attack him. I rushed over. Liu Ryan showed up later. I saw with my own eyes how she ran over and grabbed Yang Wei, and they both ran as if their lives depended on it. As for me, I had been fighting since I was a child. Even when surrounded by a group of punks, I still managed to escape smoothly. Just as Liu Ryan explained later, my family had money. And I had talent. I had been trained by private tutors since childhood. I knew better than Yang Wei how to save myself. That's how Liu Ryan and I parted ways on bad terms. On Liu Ryan's birthday, I really didn't go. But Yang Wei did. From the WeChat moments shared by our classmates, Liu Ryan stood in the middle of the group, and Yang Wei stood beside her. Liu Ryan's face was blushing, smiling warmly and graciously, like the moon surrounded by stars. Yang Wei's hand seemed to be subtly resting on her shoulder. The adults still hadn't noticed anything unusual between us. Liu Ryan's father came to my house. You didn't attend the birthday party today. Auntie knew you must be sick. How are you feeling, Naruto? My parents weren't home, so the housemaid entertained Auntie. Liu Ryan's parents were always kind to me, especially her father. Every year on Liu Ryan's birthday, he would prepare two gifts. One for Liu Ryan, and one for me. Men understand men the best. He knew I was someone reliable. This year, Uncle bought you 2 pairs of sneakers. Limited editions. I know you already have them, but it's Uncle's way of showing his affection. You can't refuse. Liu Ryan was right. I grew up surrounded by wealth, with open-minded parents, and a harmonious family. I never lacked love, nor did I lack money. But I was very clear. I didn't owe Yang Wei anything. His misfortune had nothing to do with me. Then I won't be polite. Thank you, Uncle. No matter what happened between Liu Ryan and me, I was always grateful for how they treated me. My grades were always at the top of the school. After the midterm exams, I still firmly held the first place. Liu Ryan and Yang Wei continued to sit in front of me. The difference was, now Liu Ryan would occasionally turn her head to look at me. Ito-chen, after school today, can you give me a ride home? It had been a long time since I last took her home. Beside her, Yang Wei frequently nodded. Recently, there's construction near the school, and there have been frequent muggings around there. I'm worried. If Yan has you to escort her, she'd be a bit safer. I never thought there would come a day when I would escort my childhood friend home again, and it would be to make another man feel at ease. But strangely enough, when I saw him with Liu Ryan now, I no longer felt even a trace of jealousy. I didn't even glance at them. I had already made up my mind. But unexpectedly, when school ended, Liu Ryan and Yang Wei were still waiting at the gate. As if they were determined to make me take Liu Ryan home. I tried to pass by them, but Yang Wei grabbed my bicycle. Ito-chin, I know you're angry with me. I calmed down and thought about it. During this time, I had distanced myself too much from Liu Ryan. You're my brother, and I've been too out of line. Don't worry, I'll give Liu Ryan back to you. Liu Ryan, distressed, snapped at Yang Wei. What nonsense are you talking? I'm just friends with Ito-chen. I didn't know why he started crying. Clearly, I hadn't done anything. Yet he was crying like a weeping child. Yang Wei looked at me with a troubled expression as if saying, "Stop acting like I'm bullying you. Be a man and toughen up. Don't act like a coward." Get out of the way. I picked this mountain bike after a lot of consideration. It's got a lot of power. The moment I rode off, Yang Wei was knocked to the side, his books scattering all over the ground. I had another fight with Liu Ryan. Apologize to him, she said. Please, I'm begging you. It was the first time I heard Liu Ryan speak to someone so humbly. People say I'm a rich young master. But wasn't she also a wealthy heiress? Yang Wei has it really tough. After school, he still has to help his mother with work. He is clearly the same age as us. Yet he doesn't even have basic living security. Ito-chen, I'm begging you. So many people bully him. You have everything. Just apologize to him. Let others know you've got his back. Yang Wei has always felt guilty toward you. I just looked at her coldly. In that moment, I suddenly realized, between Liu Ryan and me, we had never really talked about love or anything like that. Everyone thought we would get married someday. In reality, we weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. Cutting ties with her completely didn't seem like a difficult thing to do. Liu Ryan left because I drove her away. I sat in front of my computer, playing games for a long time, dominating the battlefield, leaving no one standing. The school I applied to finally responded to me. They said I could smoothly enroll there after graduating from high school. With the school's clear reply, most of my anger was washed away. I went alone to a barbecue stall, ordered a table full of barbecue to reward myself. Ito-chen, where's your childhood sweetheart? It was that student who always seemed to be sleeping all day. If you want to eat barbecue here alone, I suggest you calm down a bit. I quietly continued eating, taking a moment to glance at her. At this hour, this place was quite chaotic. Despite being called the washing machine, she was always sleeping in class, rarely even showing up in the classroom. It seemed she had a mysterious charm, but in reality, she was stunningly beautiful. So beautiful that just one glance could make a lot of people remember her forever. Beauty alone is often a dead end, but the washing machine was not. She had a powerful family background, just like mine, enough to protect her completely. Once an ignorant man from the underworld tried to block her way and teased her with a few words. Soon enough, his past crimes were dug up and turned in. The washing machine sat across from me, smiling brightly as she looked at me. Well, that's perfect. Ito-chen, today you have a chance to be a hero saving a beauty. Liu Ryan was a gentle, delicate type of girl. Well, the washing machine was the kind of beauty whose smile made everything around her seem dim. Washing machine, are you sure you need my help? The washing machine was the complete opposite of Liu Ryan and me. We both knew from a young age how to make our families proud, always aiming for first place, never settling for second. We had personality, but never caused trouble for our families. We were considered model children in the wealthy circles. Even though I got into a lot of fights, it was almost always to defend a bullied friend. But the washing machine was different. She was known as a troublemaker, a typical rebel who didn't study or work. Rumor had it she'd even stabbed someone. Her family had pulled countless strings just to barely keep her safe. As if I'm so powerful, she said mockingly. The washing machine casually grabbed one of the skewers I had ordered. Ito-chen, can't I just help you finish some food? If I see you can't eat it all? I thought the washing machine had lost her mind. She had insisted on moving to sit next to me, claiming that being next to the top student would help her learn. Yes, Liu Ryan worried about everything, even about Yang Wei. Her grades had already slipped past the top 10. Well, I firmly held onto the first place. To her credit, the washing machine didn't drag me down. In class, she was either asleep or had her head down playing games. She never participated in any group activities. During self-study, I slammed the group assignment in front of her. You need to finish all of this, or go back to where you came from. I had no interest in caring about a classmate's grades. The last classmate I cared about already had my childhood friend taking care of them. Besides, someone like the washing machine didn't need my concern. She seemed to take it all as a joke. Propping her head up with one hand behind her ear, she opened her eyes slightly. Ito-chen, do you think this is your home? Do you think I'll just move because you say so? Are you playing at being a campus bully? I couldn't be bothered to deal with her, but I didn't want my mom to see our group's average score at the bottom on her birthday. Under my insistence, the washing machine grudgingly rubbed her head. Fine, isn't it just a few problems? I'll do them. Say, young master, you're an only child and still work so hard. What will happen when you take over the family in the future? No one else will stand a chance. How will the others survive? She clasped her hands together. Please, leave some room for other rich kids to live. I ignored her, lowered my head, and continued writing my assignment. Suddenly, I felt a gaze on me. I looked up and met Liu Ryan's eyes from the front row. Our eyes locked. Neither of us spoke. Strangely enough, I was gradually losing interest in her affairs. I rarely noticed what she and Yang Wei were doing in class anymore. You better stop helping me. Yang Wei's voice pulled my attention back. My mom has already been discharged from the hospital. She's recovering well. You've been exhausted and losing weight lately. Go back and rest properly. With Liu Ryan's help, Yang Wei's mother resigned from her job and opened a barbecue shop in a busy area. Liu Ryan always seemed so gentle, always soft and caring. Rumor had it that Liu Ryan and Yang Wei were in an early romance. When the washing machine heard about this, who already didn't want to do the exercises, burst out laughing. I see why you're so stubborn about making me study. So it's because you were angry with your childhood sweetheart and taking it out on your deskmate? I looked at him as if he were an idiot. I've long stopped having any feelings for Liu Ryan. Maybe it's because we grew up together. Since childhood, adults filled my head with the idea that we were a pair. I just thought we'd end up married someday. But now that I think about it, there isn't much about her that I actually like. Surprisingly though, Liu Ryan came to my house at night to find me. You saw the WeChat moments, right? Liu Ryan hurriedly explained. That day, he was drunk and lost his balance. That's why he put his hand on my shoulder. We had no contact for the rest of the time. I remembered. She was talking about the WeChat post from her birthday party. Yang Wei was gently holding her. I had genuinely commented, "You two look well matched." Liu Ryan looked at me with a grievance in her eyes. Ito Chen, I was just helping him. I didn't start an early romance with him. I know, I said, but if his dad found out he got involved with someone like that, he'd probably be sent straight to the hospital from the anger. And the last time you got hurt during the game, I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I tossed the empty drink bottle into the trash can and smiled, "It's fine." That's good. Liu Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. Once Yangwei's mom's shop is stable, we'll have finished our college entrance exams too. Then we can go to Widening University together. I'm not going. Why? We had an agreement. I didn't tell her that after graduation, I would go to some Ivy League school to study business. Liu Ryan seemed to sense my growing distance from her. The next day, when she and Yang Wei entered the classroom, someone joked, "The little couple has arrived." For the first time, Liu Ryan lost her temper in class. Her face flushed with anger. After that, no one dared mention the early romance again. I knew they weren't in an early romance. How could Liu Ryan possibly like someone like Yang Wei? While eating, the washing machine sat opposite me and wouldn't leave. "Hey, top student, you haven't had an early romance, have you? Just eat your food. Or maybe you could tell me about it." "I promise I won't tell anyone." He pushed the chicken leg from his bowl to mine. "At worst, I won't drag you down anymore." Before he finished speaking, a commotion erupted in the cafeteria. A few well-off boys from school dumped their food directly onto Yang Wei's head. After all, Liu Ryan protected you like that recently. I thought she really loved you. Turns out she just felt sorry for your poor family situation. Bet not everyone knows. Yang Wei's mom was my friend's mistress years ago. His old man was just a small-time businessman, got her pregnant, and she tried to force her way in. Who knew the legitimate wife was strong, and directly kicked his mom out. His dad's just a substitute. The crowd was full of jeers and sighs. "Shut up!" Yang Wei charged at him. A brawl broke out among several people. Some classmates couldn't stand it and spoke up for Yang Wei. Yang Wei just has a tough family situation. It's not like he committed a crime. Why are you bullying him like this? Just because you say his mom was a mistress doesn't make it true. I could say your dad's got a big face too. Why? Because I feel like it. I'll do whatever I want. I warn you, Yang Wei, Liu Ryan is not your girlfriend, so you'd better stay away from her. I realized then that so many people thought they could be Liu Ryan's boyfriend. For those in their adolescence, regardless of gender, emotions, both good and bad, are always intense and vivid. This farce finally ended when the cafeteria manager came out and shouted for it to stop. Liu Ryan had gone to her dad's company to play at lunchtime. When she came back in the afternoon, she found out Yang Wei had been bullied in the cafeteria. So her gaze at me became more awkward. I will go find those guys and settle this. I won't let anyone who bullied him off the hook. The washing machine was working on the exercises I had given him, lying flat on the desk, his beautiful face etched with weariness. I tapped on the desk with annoyance. "Stop daydreaming," I said. "Think about what to do next." The washing machine stopped immediately, eyes lighting up as he pulled his phone out from the desk. "I think my next step is to go on a tour in the canyon. Dealing with a slacker like this, I've really had enough. This class only admits the top students from every district. So many people gave it their all just to get in here. I wondered if he somehow got into the wrong class. Don't be mad, I promise I'll get a pentakill in 10 minutes. I'll even gift you a few skins. And with that, he really started getting ready to send me skins. I grabbed the phone from washing machine's hand. Told him to hurry up and write. Beside us, Liu Ryan had been ignored by me for a while. She suddenly grabbed the phone from my hand, giving washing machine a cold look, then looking at me. Ito-chen, I remember you weren't like this before. You've changed. Are you saying I was in the cafeteria, but didn't help him? Liu Ryan neither agreed nor disagreed. Ridiculous, why should I help him? Helping is kindness. Not helping is my right. You have no right to judge me. I zipped up my backpack, lifted it and stood up. The washing machine thought I was going home, and nearly choked on the water he was drinking. If you can't win an argument, get some backup. Ito-chen, I have my own mouth, you know. Drink slower, I chuckled, feeling amused by him. I gave him a helpless glance. And do you have hands? Help me carry this. Honestly, it wasn't because of Liu Ryan that I was moving away. It was really because washing machine's ability to hold me back was too strong. I, the top student of the entire grade, had my group's average score dragged to the bottom by him. I was too ashamed to face anyone. I dragged him to the front row and confiscated his phone during class. At first, washing machine resisted strongly, but slowly he stopped struggling. Every day, he'd act cute and beg me to tutor him. As Liu Ryan had said, those who bullied Yang Wei didn't end well. The less severe ones were expelled, while the more serious cases even caused their families' businesses to suffer. She and Yang Wei seemed like protagonists in a script flipped upside down. She carefully protected everything about Yang Wei. Before long, Yang Wei received financial support from the Liu family. The cafeteria incident completely made Liu Ryan choose Yang Wei. She no longer lingered between me, her childhood friend, and him. This decision was firm. She even organized a grand basketball game for Yang Wei. If you like such events, I can also organize one, and I guarantee it will be much better than his. Washing machine once again tried to avoid studying in front of me. Ito-chen, stop supervising my studies every day, or I might think you like me. For some reason, after he said that, my heart skipped a beat. This had never happened to me before. This girl is hard to chase. Washing machine smiled, her smile brighter than the green leaves outside the window. Try if you don't believe me. I couldn't quite describe my feelings at that moment. I just felt my heart racing. She seemed so lively. Not as nasty as others had said. She was a bright, lively girl. What I didn't expect was, the next day, washing machine didn't come to class. She didn't come for the entire week after that. You're worried about her. Liu Ryan walked behind me, looking very aggrieved. Ito-chen, washing machine. She isn't someone good. Everyone in the circle says she stabbed someone a few years ago. I don't believe you haven't heard about it. After sending a message to the homeroom teacher requesting leave, I started packing my books into my backpack. Liu Ryan interrupted me. Do you know anything about her family? Her parents are each doing their own thing. If it weren't for both sets of grandparents protecting her, she probably wouldn't have survived this long. I advise you not to get too involved in her life. A person's environment determines their personality. Someone raised in such a gloomy family, could they have a decent personality? I found her statement laughable. Right then, Yang Wei returned. The smile on my face grew even more mocking. Oh, then tell me, what kind of people come from gloomy families? Liu Ryan's face immediately changed. I found washing machine in the hospital. Thanks to you. She said, "I'm feeling great." Washing machine had a plaster cast on one leg and four in one hand, struggling to eat an apple. Yet she still had a smile on her face. I'm sorry, if only I had known about her situation earlier. If I had appeared in her life sooner, maybe she could have been a bit happier. Washing machine threw the apple core into the trash bin, laughing carelessly. "What are you apologizing for, Master Ito-chen? Give me some face. Don't talk about my dad beating me half to death. Tell everyone else. This girl's pride is very important." I recalled the rumors about her. How much resilience must one have to live so freely from such a family? Want to know why it got beaten? Washing machine looked at me nonchalantly. "There's nothing that can't be said. My dad has an illegitimate son who was being disrespectful, so I gave him a good beating that day. I went a bit too hard. My dad couldn't take it and beat me up. But he ended up getting reprimanded by my grandpa too. All even now. I'd heard about the scandalous activities of the Zahn family couple. Hearing it from their daughter's mouth felt completely different. What's with that expression?" Washing machine smiled and waved her an injured hand in front of my eyes. "Ito-chen, you're a tough slam dunker. Don't tell me you're about to cry?" I smiled and glanced at her, seeing her stunned expression. I pulled out this week's stack of test papers from my backpack. All 13 of them. "No way, Ito-chen. I'm practically crippled. And you're still torturing me." "Don't worry, even if you were truly crippled, I'd still push you into the exam hall. Recovery takes 100 days. Washing machine was discharged from the hospital a week later. With the college entrance exams approaching, her leg still in a cast, she went straight back to school. She cleverly used a mix of beauty and hardship tactics, assigning the daily task of fetching meals to her deskmate, which happened to be me. As the English class representative and the sports class representative, it's not too much to ask you to help your deskmate get some food, right? Not at all, I'm more than happy to. But back then, I was just a teenager. Even if I was more than willing, I didn't want to show it in front of the girl I liked. I had to say something teasing like, "Eat all you want. It won't kill you." There's always some troublemaker trying to mess with me. Washing machine really finished all the food I got her. Even if it was a lot, she slowly ate it all. I found myself increasingly concerned about her grades. After every mock exam, I was always the first to run to the leaderboard. Seeing that washing machine had improved a lot made me happier than maintaining my own first place rank. "We need to talk." Liu Ryan suddenly approached me and pulled me out of the classroom without waiting for my response. "Don't you think you're getting too close to washing machine now? Whether she studies or not, or where she wants to apply, that's none of your business." I interrupted her impatiently. "And what should be my business then? I have the right to choose who I spend my time with." Liu Ryan sneered. "You consider her just a friend, but do you think she does too? From the beginning, her intentions weren't pure. She never planned to just be your friend." Washing machine, really? That's very important to me. Her nagging was giving me a headache. Instead of worrying about my relationship with washing machine, I think you should pay more attention to your boyfriend's feelings. Yang Wei had been staring at us the whole time. Liu Ryan froze. Just then, washing machine hobbled over with her injured leg, looking frustrated as she came to find me. "Ito-chen, you really are a born capitalist. Even having lunch with me comes with a fee. And the payment is in test papers? Why don't you just let me study to death?" Liu Ryan hadn't yet reached Yang Wei, but upon hearing this, she immediately turned back. "Where are you going with washing machine?" It was the first time I was celebrating washing machine's birthday. The location was a barbecue stall in a busy area in the western part of the city. Washing machine had to avoid spicy food, so in his hand was a piece of cake, while in front of me were a bunch of skewers. Heartless, washing machine commented on me. Heaven knows, I retorted. This time I was truly wrong. I had asked the owner to make skewers without any spice for him, and had even prepared a gift. Washing machine immediately beamed with joy. Seeing his expression, I felt incredibly happy. But the moment I turned my head and saw you, Ryan, I couldn't smile anymore. She walked straight towards me, grabbed my arm, and tried to pull me away. I wanted to shake her off, but she held on to me tightly. Liu Ryan, what's gotten into you? Is it me who's crazy, or you? Liu Ryan shouted at me. Isn't the shadow from last time enough for you? Who are these people with you and Yang Wei? They're just people drinking at a nearby barbecue stall. It's late at night and you're out here alone. Don't you know that I would worry? Strange, when you left me and ran away with Yang Wei that time, you didn't seem this worried. No need to worry. If something happens to me, I won't need you to protect me. I was genuinely furious. Back then, he abandoned me without a second thought, and now he dared to drag me away so openly. I sat back across from washing machine, grinning slyly as I looked at him. Washing machine, didn't you say you have a mouth? Alright, washing machine. Look at me getting dragged around by Liu Ryan. She was about to say something, but was amused by my expression. I didn't expect that Yang Wei's new shop was right next door. When I saw Yang Wei approaching, I thought today was truly a rotten day. But the worst was yet to come. Yang Wei's father, reeking of alcohol, came back from somewhere, stumbling and drunk. He smashed a bottle on the ground, then charged inside and started fighting with Yang Wei's mother. Liu Ryan couldn't stand it any longer, so she rushed in and got involved in the scuffle. Washing machine couldn't move easily. I was about to move her to a safer place, but I didn't expect them to come fighting our way. Yang Wei's father was smashing things wildly. A stick nearly hit washing machine. Instinctively, I tried to pull washing machine towards me. I didn't dodge in time, and the stick hit my shoulder at an awkward angle. The sound of police sirens filled the air. I was the one who called the police, except for washing machine. We all had various injuries, big and small. I only remember washing machine crying and asking if I was in pain. I had always seen her carefree smile, but this was the first time I saw her cry, and it nearly tore me apart. You like her, don't you? Liu Ryan hit in the face with a beer bottle by Yang Wei's dad. Her face bandaged, looked at me pale and frail. In such a dangerous moment, you were carefully protecting washing machine. You didn't care if you got hurt yourself. Is it because she is important to you? I neither confirmed nor denied it. Liu Ryan's face slowly twisted in pain. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Ito-chen, are you abandoning me? I had protected washing machine. It was indeed because I wanted to protect her. I looked at her without any expression. Don't act so pitiful. I clearly remember. You and Yang Wei once abandoned me and ran away. I didn't abandon you. We were planning to find someone to come back and rescue you. I cut her off. Liu Ryan, you always compare me with Yang Wei. You say he is poorer than me, more unfortunate than me, so you protect him in everything. I was born lucky. The worst I've endured was getting hurt in fights. When something happens, you instinctively choose to protect him. You stand up for him, organize basketball games in his name, plan his future for him. Liu Ryan's face became uglier inch by inch. But Ito-chen, I have no other feelings for him. I just think he's pitiful. It has nothing to do with love. It doesn't matter anymore. I smiled, just like she is. It doesn't matter. I don't quite remember how Liu Ryan left the hospital that day. I remember when she staggered out the door. She bumped into an aunt who was there for a checkup. Without even saying sorry, she fled as if escaping. Besides my parents, the only person I told about changing my plans was washing machine. Liu Ryan received her admission letter. In high spirits, she came to my house, excitedly showing me the letter. Ito Chen, look, I did it. Just like we planned. We can finally date now. Her words stopped as soon as she saw my suitcase. I hadn't told her I was leaving the country. It seemed that in that moment, she finally understood completely. I was really going to leave her behind. Stop it, okay, I'm sorry. Liu Ryan tried to hug me. We promised. We were going to take over our family businesses together. We were going to conquer the business world together. You hate Yang Wei. I won't contact him anymore, okay? I've already deleted him. Ito Chen. A loud honk broke the tension between us. Washing machine was sitting in the car. Hey, top student, I got my driver's license. I got into her car, turned back and waved to my parents. I stared at a bunch of things on the dashboard. Grinning, tell me, are you planning to follow me abroad? I would if I could, she said, but she couldn't. Washing machine's grandfather's health was getting worse, and the illegitimate heirs were eyeing the family assets hungrily. The family needed washing machine to take over. She couldn't leave even if she wanted to. My university life was going pretty well. Washing machine seldom came to see me. Often, it was me who went to see her. I would help her solve problems as much as I could. I knew she was living a tough life, balancing school and learning to manage a family business. So young, even if she acted carefree, it wouldn't be easy. But I was relieved that Liu Ryan didn't come to bother me anymore. I found out later that washing machine, that little troublemaker, had deliberately kept Liu Ryan too busy to disturb me. During the holidays, I loved to go see the snow. But unfortunately, I took a nasty fall. I ended up with a broken bone. Washing machine appeared before me, furious. Her hair a mess, without any of the poise of a career woman. In my eyes, she was breathtakingly beautiful. I gently rubbed her head, feeling a pang of heartache. I teased her on purpose. Hey, Gigi, you look so ugly right now. Washing machine cursed me for being heartless. I confessed my feelings to her. For the second time, she shed tears in front of me. Liu Ryan somehow found out about this. During my research trip with the school, she actually flew abroad to find me. At the time, I was with foreign colleagues, exploring the possibility of building extreme sports facilities in some mountainous area. An assistant informed me that a girl had reached the edge of our restricted zone. When I saw the surveillance footage, I was surprised to see it was Liu Ryan. She looked much more worn out than before. During college, her family's business declined significantly. Yang Wei was not someone who could shoulder responsibilities. He didn't have the capabilities of washing machine, nor the strength to overcome barriers. The distance from here was 7 mountains away, yet she attempted to walk all the way. I heard she's your friend. Aren't you worried? My foreign colleague asked. I laughed. I won't force anyone to climb a mountain, but if she wants to climb herself, I won't stop her. Washing machine and I are the same kind of people. We seem to be always smiling, acting indifferent about many things. But we are always kind only to those who truly matter to us, whether it's family or each other. But it will never be to anyone else, especially not to those who have hurt us. Instead of wondering how Liu Ryan will climb these mountains, whether she will get injured on the way here, I care more about how washing machine is doing now. Though we both try our best, to shorten the time we are apart. But it had already been 3 days since we last saw each other. Only heaven knows how much a grown man misses the woman he deeply loves. Thankfully, with the help of her grandfather, she now had complete control over the family's affairs. Her parents had been kicked out of the picture. After finishing my call with washing machine, the sky had already turned dark. The assistant informed me, "The woman who climbed up here has fainted." Liu Ryan was taken to the hospital. When she woke up and saw me, a smile appeared on her face, but tears also began to fall. "Ito-chen, I knew you wouldn't abandon me." Her smile disappeared the moment she saw her father. Uncle Liu slapped Liu Ryan hard, twice. "Ridiculous, you once used our family's influence to pave the way for that Zhao guy, and I let it slide. But now you've done something this foolish?" Yang Wei, of course, had no good ending. Even though he received support from the Liu family, his ambition was too great. The Liu family couldn't accommodate someone like him. Liu Ryan cried and begged me not to leave. "Ito-chen, I've always loved you. I have only ever loved you. But I didn't love her." Uncle Liu wasn't brought here by me. He was just alone in a foreign country, unfamiliar, and I merely helped guide him. I stayed for a while and then left. After leaving the hospital, I returned to my apartment. As soon as I walked in, I saw a pair of familiar high heels. Washing machine was wearing a red dress, dancing freely. When she saw me come back, she instinctively smiled. With a few beads of sweat still on her forehead, I rushed toward her, wrapping my hands tightly around her waist. "Good evening, my Gigi Siege." Extra parental business alliances. The number of illegitimate children between them was beyond count. My mother loved her son from her affair. My father loved his daughter. Only I seemed like an adult who had sprung from a stone. Only when I made mistakes would my parents come together to solve the problem. So I did everything I could to get my parents' attention. I heard the name Ito-chen at a very young age, often mentioned alongside Liu Ryan. Father always compared me to them. "If only you could achieve better grades than theirs. Or, one day, marry someone as reliable as Ito-chen. Then your grandmother and I could be at ease." I scoffed at this. I had no interest in competing with Liu Ryan because I was already excellent, and I had even less interest in being married to Ito-chen. Compared to him, I preferred sitting in the shade, watching the boys from the neighboring school play basketball. I had been watching him for half a month straight. "Stop staring. If you have the guts, go chase him." My deskmate nudged me with her elbow. Right, she nudged me just like that. At the time, I was only in the first year of middle school. Yet I actually went to the convenience store to buy water and eagerly walked toward him. The boy froze for a moment, then thanked me politely. "No problem, I was just worried you might cry if you lost." As soon as I said it, I wanted to slap myself. The heroines in romantic dramas don't chase boys like this. He laughed out loud, weighing the half-empty bottle of water. "Got it, I won't let my opponent lose too badly." It was the first time I felt my heart race with excitement. After that, I fought my way into the cheerleading team. Every day after school, my teammates and I would carry 2 boxes of water to the training ground. No matter what day it was, I would always make sure to hand a bottle of water to that boy. I refused to attend that top student's birthday party. I ruthlessly declined my grandfather's suggestion. Even if it killed me, it wouldn't change my mind. That day after school, I did as usual and carried water to the training ground. But I didn't see the person I wanted to see. My teammate said he had gone to a birthday party. For a moment, I really wanted to slap myself. By the time I had changed into my dress and rushed to the venue, Ito Chen had already left and had gone with Liu Ryan. My mom and your mom are really too much. Who throws such an extravagant party for a 12th birthday? It's so overwhelming. So, Ito Chen, I'll throw you a simple birthday party again. Really. I'll make it myself. Ito Chen, I'll make a cake just for you. I realized he wasn't just a namesake for Ito Chen. He was, in fact, Ito Chen himself, and he really did have a childhood friend named Liu Ryan. The moment I learned his name, my secret crush, I knew it was marked with impossibility, but like all young girls in the bloom of first love, I couldn't control my feelings for him. I wanted to talk to him, to get a little closer to him. I even fantasized about telling him that I wasn't really a bad kid. I actually loved studying too. I was just pretending to be rebellious to get my parents' attention. I wondered if Ito Chen would be willing to be my friend. Just friends, nothing more. I didn't ask for anything else, but it seemed the heavens loved to play tricks on me. The woman my father kept outside became more brazen and even brought her illegitimate son before my grandparents. My grandmother, enraged by that woman, suffered a stroke and died. I lost my mind and stabbed that woman 3 times. I stabbed my father several times too. He survived, but my reputation was ruined. I became like an unwanted weed in a ditch, no longer daring to hope that Ito Chen would ever look my way. During the high school entrance exams, I performed normally and ended up in the same class as Ito Chen. My grandfather laughed, saying our family must have had smoke rising from its ancestral grave. I was getting physically closer to Ito Chen, but I felt even more clearly how close he and Liu Ryan were. It was as if he was born to belong to Liu Ryan. So be it. I couldn't just kidnap him and bring him home. I continued my ways from middle school, playing around and not studying, not taking exams seriously, not behaving properly, all just so my mom would look at me a bit more. But my mom's son was even more of a scoundrel than I was. I was pretending, but he was the real deal, a true troublemaker. My mom spent most of her energy on him. That's when I realized a mother's love for her child is not only about fixing problems when they make mistakes, but also about doing everything possible to guide them onto the right path. My mom never tried to guide me. I laughed bitterly, and then I cried. I was afraid my grandfather would leave me just like my grandmother did. There had to be someone in the world who loved me, right? It seemed like the wheels of fate were finally turning in my favor. The arrival of Yang Wei, the transfer student, completely shattered the closeness between Ito Chen and Liu Ryan. The more Liu Ryan cared about Yang Wei, the more I felt delighted. But soon I couldn't laugh anymore. When a gang of thugs surrounded them, Liu Ryan was so careful in protecting Yang Wei. I had never seen Ito Chen look so disheveled. He should have always been at the top of the pyramid, not looking so forlorn. Feeling sorry for him, I ran over desperately, trying to help him, but it seemed he didn't need me at all. He was strong and managed to take care of those thugs on his own. Later, during the sports meet, I actually watched the entire basketball game of Ito Chen. When he got injured, I was the first one to rush over, but he looked at Liu Ryan. I stopped in my tracks. In my heart, I prayed, Liu Ryan, I beg you, don't make him sad. But when Yang Wei got hurt, to Liu Ryan, it was as if it were a matter of utmost importance. She left Ito Chen behind and rushed to the school hospital, hurriedly. She brought back medicine and returned to the classroom before Ito Chen placed the iodine on his desk, then pretended to sleep. I realized that Liu Ryan would never look back again. But I also realized this was heaven's pity for me. Even a weed in a dirty ditch can still look up to see the bright moon in the sky. From that moment on, I dove headfirst into Ito Chen's world. The end.